That feeling you have right now, you're not alone in it. Whether you need bi-weekly blogs, bi-monthly webinars, or quarterly workshops, there's ongoing support waiting for you. Visit courtnellysmith.info blog community. Ready for more personalized support? Click Book Me.
Hello, I'm Courtney Smith, and I'd like to welcome you today to our special broadcast outside of the community. So you know what we're doing inside of the community, just in case you want to join us. Today, we're talking about the space before goodbye. And what's the space before goodbye? What is it really talking about? It's talking about anticipatory grief. It's the grief we feel before loss actually happens. It shows up in illnesses, aging parents, dissolving relationships, job instability, layoffs, leadership changes, or major transitions. And why is this conversation important for now? At home and in the workplace, we sliding into the holidays, and grief gets to be one of those things that begin to be a little harder to bear, becomes a little bit heavier, becomes a little bit darker in this season. And it's a place we need to help so we can give people a little bit of light right now. So on this Lunch and Learn, I want you to be aware of the people around you, aware of your own emotions and feelings, so that if you see somebody who's showing any of these signs of anticipatory grief, I will give you some methods and then help you with some skills to help you bring them out of the darkness. We want everybody to see the light. We want everybody to have a path through their grief. So today I'm going to jump right on in and start, because I think I stacked in a little bit of meat and going to go a little bit over an hour today. So hopefully you got your lunch with you. If you're watching it live or you watch it in the replay, you can pause and watch it a little bit later. But the key is to have a little notebook with you so we can talk about some of these key points. One of the things we want to start about, what is anticipatory grief? Why is it important to talk about? Because it's one of those things we really don't speak a lot about in the grief community. We talk about it when the incident occurs, whatever that situation or circumstances is that causes us grief. But a lot of times grief is before the actual loss occurs, when somebody gives you an announcement or a notice that something bad is going to happen later. Not even bad, but a transition or a movement or a change that's going to occur in your life. You're not going to be where you are right now, and you have to make a shift in your mind, your emotions, or your spirit to give you the strength to position yourself in a thriving position for that future expectation. And the key is for that future expectation. Are you preparing yourself for that future expectation? So when it talks about that, if somebody tells you something, how do you emotionally react? How do you physically react? And the thing is, even a lot of people who show up to the physical doctor, a lot of these things are misdiagnosed as stress, fatigue, disengagement, orientation. When they're actually anticipatory grief, they need to actually describe the why this is happening and get to the root of it. And these other outside issues would resolve themselves. And how is it different than typical grief? Because nobody actually knows that you are grieving something that has not occurred yet. It is obvious to somebody when you're grieving, when you have an announcement and say, I've lost a parent. I'm feeling some kind of way because my kids are leaving home. I've gotten a pink slip. The notice has already occurred. But when you are just waiting for the notice, or when you are dealing with parents that are sick, everybody doesn't know that the load that you are carrying is grief as well. So let's talk about how some of these things look in a professional environment. And I'm glad today to be here on LinkedIn so we can talk about some of these professional things that we talk about in workplace grief. Organizational changes cause grief. Workforce reduction causes grief. Burnout from emotional labor causes grief. Losing a mentor or a key leader and causes grief. And not sure about your team, if that position or that group is going to still exist or how the members are going to disperse. That is also a type of grief that is causing disruption within organizations. So that is an angle we need to make sure that we keep our eyes out for when we are in the workplace. Now, coming over to the personal angle, looking at it from the other side, preparing for a medical decline. I've had to raise my hand on that one because I'm not in my 20s anymore. So things happen and you have to transition because you can't do what you used to do, and you're preparing for that. Sometimes you can't prepare for dementia or a terminal illness, but if you know those things are coming, divorce, separation, major life transitions. And the key is we have all experienced these things at some point in our lives. If not, let's live a little bit longer and we'll see by and by. So what I want you to think about right now in this little moment of while we're having this conversation, I'm going to send you into a mini reflection, 2 minutes here. And what I want you to think about, what loss have you been bracing for lately? What do you think is coming? What do you know is coming? What are you bracing for lately, personally and or professionally, that you feel like your emotions or you mentally, you have stressed and gotten so tight that you cannot focus on today, right now? I'll give you a little reflection and think about it. All right. I'm hoping you thought about that in the 2 minutes. What loss have you been bracing for, waiting for, thinking that's going to happen lately, whether it's in your personal, professional life? Okay. So now that you've identified what it is that is coming, think about the benefits of knowing that. That's what we're going to talk about. What's the benefits of knowing that the loss is coming versus the not knowing and it happens all of a sudden experience? So there are 4 benefits of knowing that it's already coming. One is the emotional preparedness. A lot of us say, I don't want to know what's coming. I don't want to know what's happening. But the thing is, when you know, there is a preparation that you can begin to take because it allows you to gradually adjust to things. It reduces the shock impact. It helps regulate fear and anxiety. And what that means is that you can begin to already talk to somebody about it before it happens. That way you're prepared when it happens so that you are not spiraling in your emotions. You have strategy to help you through your emotions. And that is a great thing. Instead of just waiting for something to blow up on you, you're prepared for it. You can move back and it's not much damage caused. I'm not going to tell you there is no heartache, there's no hurt when the actual thing happens. It just reduces the damage. That is like if you know a bomb is going to go off and you can only get a certain distance from it, it decreases the amount of damage that it will cause emotionally for you. So that's an emotional preparedness. So it will begin to build your emotional resilience and know how to bounce back from it. What do you need to prepare for it and the damages that are to come? Now, this is a very important thing. It is a relationship resolution. And now what I want you to hear is a resolution, not a reconciliation. A resolution, because when you know something is happening, you can start to make a resolution for it. It's not try to run back and rebuild relationships and make them what they are not. It's just an opportunity to express what you all have already had, the love, the gratitude, the forgiveness. So you are not carrying along with you guilt, unspoken conversations when things happen and you aren't prepared for it. It gives you time to create a resolution, a chance to say what's meaningful. And the key is meaningful before goodbye. There's no need to be an ugly, nasty, and dumping things on people before they pass or things happen to add extra baggage to someone's situation on the way down the road. And it can strengthen family and workplace relationships. So this resolution can be used in the workplace when somebody is getting ready to retire, when a layoff is getting ready to happen. This is an opportunity to speak good truth, to speak something into someone's life as a resolution to express love, gratitude, and forgiveness. Those are very key on this journey when you're talking about the resolution. And remember, resolution is not reconciliation. Reduce conflict. This is something that you want to do when any type of transition happens. Reduce conflicts because there is something that is already there. It clarifies the expectations of what is going to happen when this loss occurs, when this transition occurs, when this change occurs. These are the expectations of this change and what is going to happen because of this change. It improves the communication because everybody is well aware up front of what is happening. So there's no need to sneak around, hide the conversation. Everybody's aware of what is coming forth, of the situation and the circumstances, good, bad, or indifferent. We are aware that these things must happen. And it minimizes last minute emotional eruptions, as I see it. Now, it just doesn't, the situation damage, but now so it requires so people don't, the saying is go postal on people because people are already prepared. They're not shocked. They're not overwhelmed. They can make preparations for this particular situation. So if you're giving somebody 30 days notice, 66 months, they have time to change and shift their lifestyle in this. And I love providing these skills and tips for people so they can have this conflict resolution when they're reducing their conflict on these transitional journeys. Lower your stress during these transitions. That's a great thing too. But clear decision making, that is great for people in leadership positions, but it's definitely good for the employee as well. So employer and employee, and of course in our personal life, we can make decisions a little bit clearer based on things that we know are coming. We can make an adjustment. We can make an improvement. We can also just get our mind space ready to see things from a new perspective. So in that case, we can make medical directives, care plans, financial preparations, and professional transitions. We can make succession plans, role clarity. What's my new role, or what is my new identity outside of this position? Because a lot of us, our whole lives revolve around our profession, and we don't know who we are without that profession. What can we do? So role clarity on what hat do I wear outside of this position? Those are things to think about. So now, of course, you know, I love reflections. We're going to jump into another reflection. And I ask you a question to identify which benefit most do you need right now? Do you need to start making some clearer decisions, reduce some conflict in your life, do some resolutions to some relationships, or get emotionally prepared for what is to come, whether it's work, life, your professional life, your personal life, business development, personal development. What are the things that you need to stretch so you can use some of these benefits to help you? Let's have a reflection moment. 2 minutes, you all. All right, I'm glad you're still here with me on this Lunch and Learn journey. We're moving on to part number 3, where we're talking about how this anticipatory grief shows up at work. Well, now you got some benefits of knowing ahead of time. Now you got some. We're going to talk about some of the ways this shows up, and not necessarily in a good way when people are not acknowledging and not using the benefits of this knowing. A lot of people are unaware they're grieving. So these are signs when you can see that somebody's grieving and then help them transition into these benefits. So anticipatory grief shows up in work as decline in creativity, focus, and availability. People who used to be available a little bit more, all of a sudden they don't have the time, they don't have the focus, and they can't manage to come up with an idea. Heightened irritability. Now, this is what's going to trip a lot of people up. They're overproductive. They're putting their all into work so they don't have to deal with their situations. And you say, hey, that's great. I got an overproductive employee, until they burn out. And then you have an employee who is burned out and who needs to be out for an extended longer time. So their overproductivity, if it was only for a limited time frame, you want something that they can actually keep up. So notice people who have began to pour a lot of extra into work, overproductivity, and of course, underproductivity. Difficulty planning long term. They aren't able to commit to a schedule. They aren't able to plan for the meeting. Those things have become a little bit hard for them to have the capability to plan for long term. And then emotional withdrawal. You notice somebody who's not participating in the joy of the holidays the way that they used to, or they're not having conversations, they're not being a part of the group. These are signs that they have anticipatory grief. And those are very prevalent in the workplace right now. And there are some skill building tools that I provide for corporations, whether you want to be a part of this new opportunity that's coming along for one time only, a 45-day reset at the beginning of the year we are doing for corporations. And it's building these skills to facilitate good grief. And I did say good. And you say, why is grief good? We'll talk about that. I'll address that. Why grief can be good for your corporation and your organization, and how do we set it up so that it works the best for you. Of course, we have to set it up where individuals know how to name their transitions, where there is creating psychological safety in the environment, trauma-informed leadership. These are things that are addressed, and grief-aware communication, so that you know when people are going through some of these anticipatory grief signs, and you're able to help them get to a place where they can have good grief. Identify how it is a benefit and how to pass along. Even things when they are going through the 12 different types of workplace grief will be addressed as well. So grief in the workplace is very prevalent, and there's some very good skill building tools that we can dig into a little bit deeper in there. And that's why I say I'm trying not to get too meaty here. We only have a little bit of time for a lunch and learn, because whether you brought your lunch or you still got to run and go get some lunch, I want to make sure that we hit the high points for you and you have time for reflection. Because now is a very good question. When we talked about those different type of declines that were happening, those different types of ways that anticipatory grief shows up at work, my question is, how is your team experiencing anticipatory grief in the workplace right now? How are they struggling with saying goodbye to certain things in their lives? How are they learning to situate that AI is going to not replace them, but replace some of their duties and responsibilities they had, how to transition. So how are they doing with the changing of how the layout and the landscape of your organization or corporation is going? Are they able to step into training and have an open mind? So how is your team experiencing the anticipatory grief right now? Let's give us 2 minutes to think about that. All right. Thank you all for taking a minute to think about that. How is your team experiencing anticipatory grief right now? And when I say team, you might be your team. You might be a solo or entrepreneur on here. You the team. How are you experiencing grief right now? Check in with yourself and think about those things. You might have a small organization. You might have a virtual organization. How is your team experiencing it? Is a thought you need to have, because right here, the holidays, it could affect your bottom line through holiday sales, through holiday campaigns, through New Year workings. What it could affect your whole first quarter if you don't understand what the team and your organization is experiencing through the climate change. And I don't mean the weather change, I mean the system changes that's changing every day. How is it affecting them? How are they processing it? Where are they on this journey? Is very important. And then we talked about the workplace grief. Personally, let's check in with yourself. Let's get in the mirror. Each individual person, we have to have accountability for ourselves as well. Are we a caregiver to somebody and we're experiencing caregiver exhaustion? It's the reason why we can't show up fully at work. Are we having waves of sadness and waves that are coming up because we are anticipating and we can't deal with the ebbs and the flows that are going on? Hypervigilance, because you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop off, waiting for the pink slip, waiting for that phone call, and you don't even know if your number is even coming up. Hypervigilance, emotional numbness or guilt from wanting this just to be over. Hey, just kick me out. Just let's get it over with. That kind of anticipation, preemptive loneliness. Before it even happens, you are thinking about how alone you are going to be. So these are the things that we have to embrace. And so when we're talking about it in our professional place, it says, what part of your personal life have you been quietly preparing for change? Are you going through bankruptcy, foreclosure, an eviction notice? Are you preparing for these things and you're doing it silently and nobody knows? And those are the things you're working for. Through a divorce, through you lost your food stamps, just because you're working. There are a lot of working poor people here. So understanding where you are on this spectrum of grief, how is it affecting you, how it is affecting your employees, because you as the employer might probably are not going through working poorness, but some of your employees may. Or you might be struggling just to pay your employees, and your employees don't know that you're struggling to pay them and keep the doors open and what you're experiencing. So transparency on this journey, so you're not snapping at your employees because they don't know you're doing the best that you can just to keep them employed and keep the doors open and keep the company going for them. So have these conversations and understand where are you on this journey personally as well. That is a great part of the journey of having that conversation with self to be able to speak up with others. Now, this is the meat. This is where I want you all to make sure that you got your pen and your pencil out, not getting ready to go on another reflection. You can think about your personal with on that professional journey, because I want to make sure that we get this framework in. Healthy anticipatory grief framework. These are the 4 things that I want to make sure that we are always transitioning through to make sure that we are on a healthy journey. When I talk about good grief, this is what makes good grief, having a good framework around it. It's kind of like if you got a good car, because the metal inside, the structure is there. No matter who hits you, you know it is not going to touch you. And that is how we have to be in this world. It is not going to touch you. A weapon may be formed against you, but it shall not prosper. It shall not prosper. And this is the framework that you're building around yourself. And it is called the 4R approach. We are putting on the R's today, how to deal with them so that whenever something is coming against us, it does not harm us. It just puts us on a better path to what is for us. Number 1, recognize. Recognize what you're feeling, recognize what you're going through, your personal fears, your dreads, your sadness, professionally, instability, uncertainty, emotional fatigue. Recognize the situation that you're in and how you are expressing it. A lot of times we don't like to look at ourselves and what is going through. Recognize you. Recognize who you are right now. In the best of circumstances, most of us are great people. Good people. We are kind, we are nice, we're always uplifting. But in those situations, what are you doing right now? Have you withdrawn yourself? Are you still pouring to people? Are you still giving to people? Are you bitter, bossy, snappy, uncertain, depressed, very dark, doomsday type of personality? Check yourself and recognize where you are. This is my most favorite part of it, is release. A lot of people say, well, I can't let go of it. Okay, well, then you are going to be that person where it breaks you. And the key is that the weapon is formed against you. It is not going to prosper. This is the place where emotional resilience has the most responsibility on you, and you have the most control over it. It's where you release. Release, number 2, is my favorite thing. Release. Let it go. And what it's you letting go is unrealistic expectations and emotional pressure. We have these expectations we put on ourselves, we put on others, and they are unrealistic. Now, if somebody tells you something and you have the capability to change it or alter it, show up with the nothing impossible God, and he will straighten it out. But if you know it's going to happen no matter what, let it go and move on to something better. Let it go and move on to something better. What is this? I must stay strong because I can be human. And that's what you are. You're human, and you know you got some things you just got to let it go. We can do all the exercise in the world, yes, and live a little bit longer, look a little bit better, go through all the processes. But there is a point in our life where age will tell on us, where life will be lifing. And we have to be able to release that part of life so it does not stress us to the point we're holding baggage that is unrealistic. So an unrealistic expectation, an unrealistic emotional pressure that you allow other people to put on you because they tell you how you should be feeling, how you should be acting. Don't do it. Don't take on the baggage of what other people feel or what you feel other people need you to do. Release that baggage and let it go. For the thing that you can't show emotion that works, that is not true. Be vulnerable, be truly transparent. Don't be a wreck, but be real and be transparent. And I did say don't be a wreck. There's time that you have. Leave work from work. Take it if you need to be a wreck. Show up where you're still able to do your job, but be real about how you're feeling and speak it how you feel it, and understand, be respectful and on when you're speaking how you feeling. Number 3, reorient. Shift your perspective. A lot of times we only have one way of seeing things, and that's the way that other people have taught us to see things. I love speaking to clients and giving them another perspective or multi perspectives on how they can see a situation for the good, the better, and the best. And honestly, in life, that's all that I can see is the good, the better, and the best, because that is all that my God has planned for me, is the good, the better, and the best. So if you join me and choose my God, yes, when you join me, you automatically are choosing to walk with me and my God, and he is going to create a plan for you, for your good, your better, and your best. Yes, so that way when you can shift that perspective to the good, the better, and the best, you can understand what you can give over to control, what you can support and do not need, what matters most during the transition. It's called just prioritizing perspective of what is necessary in this moment. Yes, every time cannot be the same. But the thing is, prioritize and perspective of what is needed versus what is desired. Reorient. And number 4 is respond. Move with intention, not panic. And if you all heard me earlier use the word spiraling out of control, that is not intentional movement. That is letting the situation dictate your movements. Intentional, when you hear something, go make a plan. And how this can look, this new thing that's coming forth for you. How does it look? And if you aren't sure, ask for help, set boundaries, initiate conversations around this, prepare resources, and strengthen your support networks. It can be done. It will be done. Thing is, nobody has to do it alone, personally or professionally. It does not have to be done alone. I'm not the only person here who's standing in to help you close the grief gap, but I'm here today. So if you need to do it as a family, I have family plans where you can meet with the family, get it done. Or I have plans where we can do it as a corporate organization throughout your whole corporation. So there is a plan that will help you to prosper in this season while you're going through your anticipatory grief, while you are in the midst of your regular 12 types of grief for the workplace, or where you are experiencing personal grief. And you need to identify what it is you experience, how you want to change that experience, and where do you want to be on that experience. And that is what we do on this journey of A Million Hearts Reconnected. And when we are talking about, we're going to go back and recap. We're at the moment where we can work a little bit backwards now. When we're working a little bit backwards, what we're going to do is to close this out and think about the things that we talked about. We talked about how it shows up at work, how it shows up personally. What is anticipatory grief? The 4 R's of the framework, which was to recognize, release, reorient, and respond. And so, what is one thing you need to recognize, release, reorient, respond to, that you have just been ignoring, not acknowledging, or not being real with yourself? And so the thing is, go through this for yourself. Take a moment. If you didn't have time on this lunch break, if you didn't have time now, go back and look at it and replay. Share it with somebody, a friend, a family member, or somebody who you know is going through anticipatory grief. And the thing about it is, with anticipatory grief, all of us are going through it probably every day at something over something. And we need to learn these skills so that we understand how to do the through. Some of us see things as grief a little bit higher, a little bit anxious about more things than other people. Some of us have gotten to a place where we are at a level of emotional resilience, and we know how to let it go and keep it moving and reorient and keep it moving all the time and respond in a godly way. I always like to say that people know how to not look like what they've been through, but they act like what they've been through all the time. And you can tell that in their response. So be sure that you are dealing with your R's, and your R respond framework is still being in a good manner. But I said, be what you want other people to be to you in your response. How do you want them to respond to you? That is moving with intention, doing the research, correcting your voice, correcting your actions in that place. So what's next? What's next after these webinars? What comes next? We do these webinars bi-monthly, so twice a month. 2 more weeks I'll be not right here. I showed up here today as a special stream because we were talking about anticipatory. Normally we're talking about the stages or the moving and the grief. When we do it on 12/25, yes, I said 12/25, actually Christmas at noon, I'll be at the table with you if you allow me to be. You click on the link, and this is free, always free, 2 times a month, webinars. It is about us being reconnected, A Million Hearts reconnecting with God's way of healing. So if I didn't mention I was a Christian coach. Did I mention that? I'm a Christian coach. So I help us through with spiritual guidance. So I am offering at the end of this, you can DM me and say spiritual guidance, and I will send you a list of scriptures if you want to do it just with the word. Now, if you want to do it with a workbook, say workbook. You have a choice of saying the word, the workbook, or you can say both, whichever floats your boat. And I can send you the links with the word, or you can get the link with the workbook. I would say get both, because you need prayer to position you for the process. And I'll say that again, you need prayer to position you for the process. If you don't pray before the process comes, it's going to be a little hard for you to get through it without God. So understand that. In this, I will tell you that is what is next. Tell me if you want pray the process or you want both. If you don't want either and you just want to stay connected, I got a link to my website where you can get the blog. That's the community. The community is you get the blog twice a week on Wednesday and Saturday. They come out. Also, you get to be a part of the free bi-monthly webinars. That's this one on 12/11, another one on 12/25. If you are here in the LinkedIn community, all you have to do is subscribe to the Workplace Grief newsletter, and that comes out every Monday. So there is a way to be a part of the community, the corporate information, and then we will be launching a children's page also coming out in a few days. So whether it is for you as an adult or you for your children who are the ages 5 to 12, something is here for you. Something is here for you. So I look forward to seeing you, whether in the live or the replay or later in one of our other groups. Have a great day at work and see you later.